Coming up on Evening Edition, search and rescue operations start in Indonesia, plus President Trump announces its biggest trade deal in U.S. history, and SIU students protest a perceived double standard. Live from Southern Illinois University, you're watching River Region Evening Edition.
Students gathered outside of SIU's Feiner Hall Friday morning to protest the administration's handling of a flyer that was distributed on campus. Good evening, I'm Devin Dom.
And I'm Jacob Gordon. The students believe the administration has been inconsistent in their handling of the First Amendment issues and are demanding action.
The reason we're here is the way they treated the young man who was outed as a neo-Nazi and who had signs trying to recruit on this campus, on Johnny Logan, and Carbondale as a whole.
The rally, which was organized by Campus Young Democrat Socialist of America, was intended to send a message to the administration that accepting neo-Nazis on campus while threatening kneeling cheerleaders was unacceptable. SIU cheerleaders have knelt during the national anthem of several SIU athletic events in protest of racial injustices.
I just really wish that the administration would hold everyone to the same standard.
SIU administration has said that the First Amendment rights of all students are important and must be protected. We were also informed by administration officials that a student who reportedly circulated the white supremacist flyer has withdrawn from SIU.
The Marion Police Department is looking for your help finding a missing teen. Devon Graves was last seen by his mother on August 24th, but was reportedly seen riding a bicycle last week on South Liberty Street. Anyone with any information is encouraged to call their local police department. 3 people from Southern Illinois and 1 person from Missouri have been charged in by the Department of Justice for drug distribution. Scott Carnell, Jarrett Hood, Kayla Camphor, and Jordan Vichard have all been charged for conspiring to distribute methamphetamine. Camphor and Hood are being held without bond, while Carnell and Vichard are scheduled to appear in court on Thursday. If convicted, they will face a minimum of 5 years in prison.
We saw some fall-like temperatures this weekend, but the heat did return today.
I know. I wonder if it's going to continue on this week. Let's check in with Zach and see how that weather's looking.
Well, unfortunately, the fall-like weather is not going to continue today. As we can see tonight, we're going to see a high of about 71. Tomorrow morning, we're going to see 68, and at midday, we're going to see 81. Partially cloudy tonight and tomorrow, but we're going to see lots of cloudy tomorrow morning. And if we look at our teas coming up, we're going to see that we have lots of pollen coming along, local pollen alerts, so stay tuned for that. We have lots of strong winds on the way coming later in the week, and I'll have your 5-day forecast and more if you just stick with us.
The Panhellenic Council held a voter registration event in Morris Library this morning. The event aimed to register students that didn't think they could vote outside of their district. They provided free pizza, stickers, pens, and shirts for those who stopped by the table. The deadline to register to vote is October 9th, but online registration is due on October 21st. Applying for financial aid is now just a download away. College students can now apply to FAFSA starting today and can now be done on the new My Student Aid app. While the financial aid forms are under a new format, it still asks the same 100 questions. Experts recommend submitting as early as possible for the most financial aid possible.
The Illinois Broadcasters Association held its Student Silverdome Awards at DePaul University in Chicago on Friday. This year's theme was That 70th Show. Students were able to attend a career fair and panel. The keynote speaker was SIU graduate and former ABC correspondent Chris Burry. The event ended with an award luncheon. Evening Edition came in 3rd place for Best TV Sports Package, Best TV Weather, and Best TV Long-Form Journalism Programming. Congratulations to us.
I know, good job us. Ed, on Evening Edition, people honor the victims of the Las Vegas shooting on its 1st anniversary.
Plus, the Carbondale community sent out a bat signal out to pop culture fans. You're watching Evening Edition at 5.
Today marks the 1st anniversary of the Las Vegas shooting rampage, the deadliest single-day mass shooting in modern U.S. history. Officials hosted a sunrise remembrance ceremony in honor of the victims. There was music, a release of doves into the air, and 58 seconds of silence, 1 second for each of the victims killed. The lone gunman opened fire from a Mandalay Bay hotel suite onto a crowd of concertgoers below. Authorities still don't know what drove the attacker to carry out the massacre.
And authorities say a man who forced a Florida emergency room to go into lockdown today is dead. According to Orlando police, an ambulance carried a 35-year-old man to Orlando Regional Medical Center this morning. They say the man claimed to have a gun and told police that he was the suspect in a homicide. Police report the man made a move during negotiations, and officers responded by opening fire. The suspect was shot and killed. Investigators now say it looks like the man did not have a gun. 3 officers were involved in the shooting and have been placed on paid administrative leave. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement is investigating the shooting.
General Electric's CEO is out after barely a year on the job. GE announced today that Lawrence Culp will replace John Flannery Culp. John Flannery Culp is credited for leading the turnaround at the industrial manufacturing company Danaher. It comes on the same day the company revealed bleak financial news. GE warned its 2018 profit will fall short because of weaker performance at its power division. The company will also take a nearly $23 billion hit due to an impairment charge at GE Power.
After more than a year of negotiations, a new trade agreement has been reached for the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, just hours before the midnight deadline. The rules encourage more auto manufacturing in the United States and higher wages for those Americans making those parts.
Natasha Chen has more on why administration officials say this may also affect the price we pay for dairy, chicken, and wheat.
Throughout the campaign, I promised to renegotiate NAFTA, and today we have kept that promise. So we have negotiated this new agreement based on the principle of fairness and reciprocity. To me, it's the most. In this, we will have a result of much more happening.
There were a number of moments when the thing could have died. They kept picking it up, kept pressing the case.
The most advanced protections for workers ever. Dairy was a deal breaker. And now for our farmers. Milk, butter, cheese, yogurt, and ice cream.
There could be Democratic support for this. There's a lot of things worked into these agreements with Mexico and Canada that are very helpful to workers and labor unions for that matter. So let's see, we might be surprised.
President Donald Trump also spoke today about the FBI's investigation into accusations against Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, saying any investigation should be thorough but swift. Some Republican senators have made it clear that a severely limited investigation into Kavanaugh was not what they had in mind when they launched the probe on Friday. Meanwhile, the president says he doesn't want the probe to become a, quote, witch hunt. Trump also stressed that the Bureau should speak with whomever Republican senators want, including Kavanaugh himself, whose name was not on an initial list of potential witnesses.
The death toll from Indonesian earthquake and tsunami has risen to over 840, with 90 people missing and over 600 injured in the hospital. And over 48,000 people are displaced, according to the spokesman of Indonesia's disaster agency. Search and rescue operations continue in the hopes of finding more survivors who may be trapped under debris. Now authorities prepare to bury those lost in mass graves. According to the U.S. Embassy in Jakarta, there are no reports of any U.S. citizens affected in the quake.
After a weekend of fall-like temperatures, the heat has returned. Now, how long is it going to stick around? Zach has your forecast next.
But first, on Wall Street, stocks ended with the day with mixed results. The Nightly Business Report has more coming up next at 5:30.
Getting back to that good old windy Carbondale that I got used to freshman year here. Still kind of getting used to it, never really have. Saturday, like I said, scattered thunderstorms, nothing too fancy, nothing too difficult, nothing too bad to get through. I think we've got a good week ahead of us.
I think so too. And today's the first day of October.
Today is the first day of
And
October.
the first week of October, we're in the upper 80s.
That's right, and this actually, thank you for reminding me that we have a pollen alert out actually. Starting tomorrow all the way through the rest of the week, ragweed pollen is going to be very high. So if you have allergies, I suggest taking your allergy pills, take all the precautions you need. I know I'm going to be taking as many as I can.
You and me
within-
both.
Within reason, of course. But that's something that you should look out for as well.
Do you think with the rain coming this weekend, that should kind of ease
Yeah,
it down a little
on
bit?
Saturday it's going to ease it down, but these winds are going to be whipping it up everywhere for the next couple of days.
All right, thank you, Zach.
You bet.
And now here's Ryan Davis with a preview of what's coming up next in sports. Ryan.
For those of you who missed Family Weekend, we have an inside look at Saturday's football game. And is this high school being unfair to this student athlete? We'll tell you more next. And one of Southern Illinois' most famous sportsmen was killed in a four-wheeler accident today. Tim Grounds of Johnson City was a three-time winner of World Championship goose calling. He was a sought-after guide and owned a company that sold his goose calls. Grounds was 60. Well, my condolences to his family, but it does make me question, a goose calling championship. I think that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I never had heard about that until now, so it's quite interesting.
It'd be a curious thing to just see like who can have the best goose call, and apparently he was one of the best. So.
Exactly. All right, Ryan, thanks. And are the sunny skies sticking around for the rest of the week? Zach has the final check of your forecast next.
But first, as we head into the break, be sure to follow us on social media at River Region News and check out our website for more local news. We'll be right back. Many of our favorite superheroes came to SIU for Family Weekend. Families enjoyed food, games, and capes while trying to snap a picture with their favorite characters.
Evening Edition's Patrick Cotto has more.
It's Family Weekend at Southern Illinois, but this year the university wanted to make things a little more super. Students and families came out to Comic-Con dressed up as their favorite superhero characters. Although Comic-Con was more than just people getting involved.
You know, just the idea of trying to showcase our campus to the visiting family in a sort of unique and special way, highlighting the sort of intersection of student, faculty, interest, and the wider community in the sort of different ways that we can utilize all of these talents.
Students that came to the event had a lot to look forward to regardless of whether they're involved.
You know, coming out to a place that supports people who have similar interests, as well as, you know, people who are more into just, you know, fantasy in general or science fiction and what have you. You know, it just all speaks to me on a really personal level.
It's just really great to get out and see so many people just having fun and dressing up as different characters and just doing something they love.
Former SIU alum Brian Cullen created games such as Rampage, and his goal as a creator was to make people show off their best skills in video games.
Is something that you can't do in real life, and that's for me what making games is all about. It's not copying reality, it's, hey, I'd like to do this, and if I can't do it, I'll create something that lets me do it.
This is the second year SIU has had a Comic-Con event, and they hope to keep it rolling in the future.
And I hope this is a good opportunity to represent our campus and really get some enthusiasm going in the community for SIU and sort of change the narrative about SIU, get some positive messages about SIU going out there.
For Evening Edition, I'm Patrick Cotto.
All right, we got to ask, what's your favorite character?
Favorite character? Well, Black Panther, obviously.
Okay.
Forever.
I'd say I'm a big fan of the new Spider-Man. I like Tom Holland.
I like Aquaman, but characters in general, I've got to go with anyone from Star Wars.
Really?
Stormtroopers, Boba Fett, Darth Vader, any one of them. I'm sold.
My favorite Spider-Man. Yeah.
That's my 4-year-old's favorite too. So.
And we had a great weekend for Family Weekend. Is this going to stick around? Are we getting a little warm?
Well, it's gonna be still pretty warm. You know, we got temperatures in the 80s all throughout the week. Scattered thunderstorms on Saturdays. Should be nice. Partially cloudy, so you're not going to be beaten over the head with the sun, except for maybe Friday. But again, the big story, guys, is the pollen alert and the super strong winds. Like we said, high amounts of ragweed pollen starting on Tuesday, going all the way through Friday. This rain on Saturday might bring them down a little bit. Wednesday, we're gonna have 14-mile-an-hour winds. Friday, Saturday, we're gonna have 11-mile-an-hour winds. So bundle up. You might get some sideways rain on Saturday. No one wants any of that. So just be ready whenever you guys leave the house.
All right, thanks, Zach. And thank you for joining us tonight. The Nightly Business Report is up next. I'm Jacob Gordon.
And I'm Devin Dawn. For Zach Morris, Ryan Davis, and all the students who work on Evening Edition, have a good night.